Hello, welcome to Fix My List. This time with Quinton guest starring here as the Xenos expert.
The best time to fix my list is with Xenos lists.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it? I could disagree.
Well, they're the best lists, and they make everything better.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. They are better than you, and they know it.
They are, yeah.
And they will let you know.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So, we here at Art of War, every Thursday, do the Fix My List, where we go through and we fix 3 viewer-submitted lists, and there's usually a theme. Today is Xenos. Next week is probably Imperium again.
I think so,
I think it's Imperium, or then Space Marines, I think, then Imperium, then Chaos, then Xenos, then rinse and repeat. If there's a new codex that comes out with some detachments, we can do that too. And that's what we do. We go through and we fix up some lists. So if there is something that we think needs to change, we talk about it, go through it, and fix it up. And this isn't just so that people can get their lists personally fixed. It's also so everyone at home can see the process that we go through to fix our lists as we write and design them, and to help you out with that. But let's say you want your list to be fixed. Well, here's how you go ahead and do that. If you want your list to be fixed, you got to sign up for the War Room. That would be the warroom.vhx.tv. And once you do sign up, or if you already are a member, then you go to our Discord, go to the Fix My List submissions channel, and you go ahead and post your list up there. Pretty easy. If you want to give that a shot yourself, you want to just try it out and see what we got on offer, then there is a 3-day free trial down in the link below that you can check out. And you can submit your list. You can check out all of our videos on every faction. We posted up a bunch over like State of the Faction with the new balance changes, that sort of thing. So if you want to check that out, check out maybe a couple games with your personal army, things like that. There's a 3-day free trial down in the link below.
Yeah.
All right. So we got 3 lists.
3 lists.
We are starting out with
Drukhari. One of my favorite factions of 9th edition that I kind of sigh whenever I think about them now, Jack.
Why is that, Quinton?
Because I want
Actually, don't answer that.
It's because I want to hit people with my really fast space elves, and instead I have to shoot them with my really fast space elves, and I don't like that.
Yes. I'm sorry. They no longer murder everything in combat, unfortunately, sadly.
And by everything, you now mean anything. They no longer...
they no longer kill, 10 guardsmen in combat. But
that's like a real struggle.
That is a real struggle.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Lilith gets it done.
She does, but she might be going in this list.
Yes. So this list is from Hobo Bob, who had no additional notes other than titling the list Party Pirates.
Okay.
So why don't you go through and tell us what's in this list?
So we have an Archon and a Homunculus. The Archon gives you Vect. The enhancement he currently has, Art of Pain, gives you an extra pain token, which is quite good.
Yeah.
He hits like a wet noodle in combat, and he gives his unit reroll wounds when they are empowered.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. Doesn't work in a transport.
Less good.
Yes. The Homunculus gives his unit a 4-up Feel No Pain. Pretty good. He can only join Rax. Somehow he hits the hardest of the 3 non-named characters.
That makes no sense.
I don't know how they got there. The other ones are like damage 1, he's damage 2.
Incredible.
It's actually kind of embarrassing.
Okay, Crucible Malediction, what does that do?
It's like a funny once-a-game flamer. It's
Okay.
pretty okay, but it's like 6 in range.
But it's only 10 points.
Yeah, it's like 10 points. It's probably, if you're taking a Homunculus, it's actually probably worth it.
Yeah.
He is probably the best of the 3 unnamed Drukhari characters.
Yeah.
Then we have 2 squads of Kabalite warriors, each with 1 blaster, 1 dark lance, 1 shredder, 1 splinter cannon, a Sybarite weapon, a blast pistol, and a phantasmal grenade launcher.
They actually didn't have a blast pistol, but I figured you probably just want one, and that was a list whoopsie. So
they're free.
Benefit of the doubt. There you go.
So you get like 1 non-melt-to-melt-a-gun shot, 1 dark lance, 1 2-damage poison 3+ weapons, 1 weird flamer, 1 6-inch range inferno pistol. The problem with this unit is, like, each of those guys individually is worth it, but then there's 5 dudes who stand behind them that do nothing.
And they're also good into all different targets.
That's the other
So, like,
issue.
you're never actually good at shooting any one thing.
Right?
This is the reason why the Devastators, as assembled on the box with, like, 1 grav cannon, 1 las cannon, 1 heavy flamer, 1 heavy bolter, you know, whatever, are just terrible. Maybe they can't take heavy flamers, but, heavy bolter, multi-melta, las cannon, grav cannon, just, like, not good.
The problem is you have to, like, split fire this unit, but like the only relevant weapon in here is the Dark Lance.
Okay, so going through the rest of the list, right? We got 5 racks.
Yep.
2 units of 5 mandrakes. I know you like mandrakes.
I do like mandrakes.
3 units of 5 scourges.
Yep.
They're quite good.
Mm-hmm.
2 units of 3 reavers. Chronos, Talos.
3
Ravagers. 2 Venoms. A Void Raven. And a Death Jester.
And a Partridge and a Pear Tree.
That's right. So there's a lot of different stuff. I'm actually kind of proud of my ability to actually like format this and fit this on the screen because I wrote this up. Mm-hmm. Or I made the graphics or whatever. I'm kind of proud. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's kind of hard to make it not a mass of stuff. Anyway, what is your first thought?
So they're very clearly Hobo Bob is going for Drukhari Lance Spam. That is more or less the best way to run a Drukhari list.
Yeah, this looks like 21 lances plus the warriors for 23, it looks like.
Plus like a random blaster or 2.
And then heat lances, so like 25, and then blasters for like 27. That's not bad.
Not bad. I think there's a couple things in here that are just not worth the points you're paying for them.
Okay, such as?
The Cabalite Warriors and the Venoms.
I agree with that. 190, you get a 5-man in a boat and a 5-man holding an objective.
It's just not worth it.
And your problem of having 5 backup dancers for the 5 people who are actually like good is kind of solved by the Venom in that the Venom runs around with the super squad of 1 blaster, blast pistol, dark lance, shredder, splinter cannon, which is, the most eclectic defenders of the multiverse I've ever seen, or raiders of the multiverse.
They would be a great kill team.
They would be a great kill team.
Yeah.
But the problem is nothing you shoot at is actually that scared.
No.
Because you shoot...
It's 1 Dark Lance and 1 blaster.
So, like, if you get within 18, you're not doing it to hit them with 4 blasters. You're doing it to hit them with 1 blaster.
Yeah.
But if you stay out of range, you're hitting them with a Dark Lance.
It used to be you could take, like, 2 blasters and 2 Dark Lances or something like that. Yeah, that'd be way better.
That would be real
That would be worth it.
That would be pretty damn good.
Then you pop up and it's 4 anti-tank shots. It's, like, legitimately worth it.
You could go to the extreme trouble.
Yeah.
Of taking 2 Venoms and a Raider, putting the 2 super squads in the Raider, and then the Raider runs around, gets empowered, and fires some amount of guns. The
most expensive Ravager you can possibly make. It's really what it is.
What, you don't want your 200-point Ravager?
It's a 300-point Ravager.
So,
okay, no, I get.
Yeah, and then you get Venoms with, like, 5-man dudes inside.
Yeah, we did the math once. That whole package is like 600 points.
Yeah.
It's like not worth it. So,
I mean, they did go down in points.
Sure.
So it's only probably like 500.
Your Ravagers went up, so like you didn't gain any points.
No. But that package is probably like 500 points. You get 2 Venoms with 5-man dudes inside, which is fine. And then you get the best Raider of all time with 2 blasters, 2 blast pistols, 2 dark lances, 2 shredders, and 2 splinter cannons, all re-rolling to hit. And then 1 dark lance on top. So 2 blasters, 2 blast pistols, 3 dark lances. Let's go. It's not that good. It's not that good.
The problem is, like, it's still toughness 9, like 10 wound transport with a 6 up invul, and it just dies immediately.
It could die in Overwatch.
Yeah, it really can.
Pretty easily.
It does. Okay, so can we just cut them?
Do you want to cut both? Or do you want to cut one? I'm not down.
I've played with Cabalite Warriors. They really, truly just don't do anything.
Fair enough. Okay, we're gonna free up a bunch of points here, and I suspect we're gonna become a little bit more focused on the killing things plan.
Yes.
Because you have good units in this codex for just like randomly holding an objective and doing secondaries.
The problem is that like Mandrakes do it way better.
Yes.
And like the solo Chronos does it way better. And like the Reavers do it way better. And like sure you're not sticky, but you have a trillion things and the Scourges don't leave your home field.
Yes.
So like
Yeah, the Scourges just pop out, shoot, pop back.
Pop back, yeah. So Scourges have a 6-inch... They make a 6-inch normal move after they shoot. So they have a free fire and fade. So
it's really good to leave 1 on your home objective, pop out, shoot, and then just hop back onto your home objective to cover that.
Jimmy Guy has gifted 20 Art of War 40k memberships. Thank you, Jimmy Guy.
Thank you so much.
Everyone is contributing to the Quinton Food Fund.
That's right. Jimmy Guy, you have officially kept Quinton in food for the next week.
I know.
And, I mean, look at him. He clearly needs it. So thank you so much.
I can afford 1 granola bar at GW Tampa.
Well, don't go crazy. Don't spend it all in one place. Okay. Please. Thank you so much, Jimmy Guy, and welcome, everyone, to the Art of War.
I know. Okay. Other things that I want to cut.
Okay. So that's already 400 points of stuff we've just cut.
Yes. Is the Archon doesn't really have a home anymore. And I don't think his Vect is worth it these days.
John is super high on Vect. I think it's a nice thing to have, but like you're not going to buy a 100-point character for it.
So he's also an Art of Pain caddy, and I think there are better Art of Pain caddies.
Okay, fair enough. Who are you thinking of?
I think the Beastmaster's a great Art of Pain caddy. I think
he gets just like a random
Beastmaster.
Is he a character?
He is.
All right, we have another $20 super chat from Jimmy Guy. This guy cannot get enough of making sure that Quinton gets to eat food.
Shout out to my coach, Quinton. So I have to ask both of your opinions. If you just want to run across the board and murder things in close combat, would you select Black Templars or World Eaters? Which do you find more competitive?
Go ahead, Quinton. Analyze the differences between Black Templars and World Eaters.
So World Eaters go really fast and punch you really hard. Black Templars go kind of slow and punch you really hard, but also are much tougher.
Yeah. So I play both those factions.
Yeah.
Basically, the difference is Black Templars can chug down, down the middle of the field towards you.
Yeah.
And shoot you as you shoot back, as they shoot you, and then punch them when you get close. World Eaters can't really spend any time in the open.
No.
You basically have to go from terrain to charging your opponent.
Yes.
But you move wildly faster.
They're so fast.
They're so fast.
They're so fast.
I'm looking forward to maybe this weekend.
Please no.
Yes.
Please no, good sir.
Yes. So if you want to go faster but be more fragile and have to jump from terrain to terrain, World Eaters is your bag.
Yes.
If you want to be able to take a punch and get in a slugging match with your opponent, Templars is more your style.
Yeah.
But they are both very fun. They are basically the two armies I was debating for Tampa.
Yeah.
But since I already played Black Templars,
Which
I kind
is
of want to try something
more
new.
competitive. I think in the new format, maybe World Eaters.
It's close.
It's close.
So Templars, I think you still take Righteous Crusaders.
Yeah, probably.
Which
the
it
lack
just
of
makes
oath really hurts though in the new.
It really does.
Really hurts.
You probably want to take things like Lancers that can kill stuff without taking oath, and it's just kind of a little bit worse. But that's okay. You have good Lancers, and Lancers are fine, and the army was probably on the too good end beforehand, and now it's probably on the good end.
Yeah.
So either one is very good. I think they're probably about as competitive as each other.
Yeah.
World Eaters is definitely harder, though, because if you play it like you think World Eaters should play, and you just run down, just shove your army down main at your opponent, you will die. So you have to play a bit more cage. It's a bit more like Blood Angels from last edition.
I miss Blood Angels.
All right. Thank you so much, Jimmy Guy. We appreciate you so much. I know Quinton appreciates you.
I do.
And he'll be there for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we have this Archon, and the question is he... Basically, the character himself, we have no Cabalites, he is absolutely useless.
Fair enough.
We are paying exclusively for the Vect and a Caddy.
So he's getting cut, and I assume you want the Beastmaster?
Beastmaster, yeah.
So the Beastmaster is around the same cost, but he comes with some friends.
So the Beastmaster, basically, we're trading the Vect for Scout and way higher toughness.
And more
things.
Like, it's a unit in and of itself.
The Beastmaster actually does stuff. The Archon does not.
Yeah, because the Beastmaster comes with a Clawed Fiend, 2 Chimera, and 3 Razorwing Flocks, in addition to scouting, and just like he is a unit.
A unit that's actually quite good at holding a backfield objective, it's the Beastmaster. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm all in on that. Okay. What about this Homunculus? What do you think?
He does anything.
That's fair?
Yeah. That's the problem with the Drukhari characters, is they really, truly just don't do anything.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to spend your points on characters in this army.
Especially since I also want to cut those racks. I don't hate the 5-man rack squad, but the problem is that they're just worse mandrakes.
Yes, you have tools that you can use that, because troop doesn't matter, right? It doesn't, being a battle line, being a troop unit isn't any better than being a non-troop, a non-battle line unit, right? You don't get objective secured, which used to be a thing.
Yeah. You
don't get that, which means that there's no inherent reason to include battle line.
There's not.
So if you have better units outside of battle line, which Drukhari do, you probably want to go there first.
Yeah.
So this leaves us with a clean 500 points. Anything else you're taking a good long look at?
That Talos.
What about the Talos?
So the Talos, the problem now is it doesn't have 2 heat lances, it has 1 twin heat lance.
Just still not bad. You reroll hits and wounds if you spend the
pain token on it.
If you spend the pen token.
But then it kind of fights, and it kind of shoots, and it didn't actually gain any durability in an edition where the strength of a lot of guns went up.
Is this the kind of thing where you want something like the twin Haywire blaster.
I think the Haywire is better.
It's longer range too, isn't it? It's like 24.
Yeah, I think so. The Heat is pretty short.
Heat Lance, I think, is 18.
Yeah.
So the Haywire blaster is 24, and the Heat Lance is 18.
That makes a difference.
It does.
I also like twin and anti-vehicle and devastating ones.
Yes.
You can just kind of pop out and shoot like a Warwalker to death.
Talos honestly aren't bad.
They're not terrible. I think he probably stays.
Okay, so are we looking to keep it as one? Or...
I like one Talos because it's like annoying.
Yes. Okay, so let's put in a twin Haywire blaster. Okay, just a little longer range, which honestly is huge because they don't advance and shoot. They don't do anything. They move kind of slow. Getting with an 18
they
is
no
a
longer
little
advance
rough.
in charge, and they don't go over walls anymore, which is annoying.
Yeah, so the range is really going to be a problem.
Yeah. So that keeps us, we have what, 500 points?
500 on the nose.
Okay.
How do you feel about Dark Sides on a Void Raven?
I want the lances.
Yeah.
The Void Lance.
I was very proud of coming up with the idea of, hey, what if we just put a bunch of Void Ravens with Void Lances into...
They're actually quite good.
Into Drukhari. They are quite good. Because they have old towering.
They do. They shoot really hard.
They just show up, reroll hits on a four shots, then they have missiles. And the 4 shots are baller anti-tank shots. Yeah. Like, I believe...
Strength 12, AP4.
They're Strength 14.
Right, they're 14.
But they are good.
Yeah.
Strength 14, AP4,
yeah.
D6 plus 2.
No, they flip tanks.
Yes. And they are significantly better against certain targets than Dark Lances.
Yes.
Mass Dark Lances can run into Armor of Contempt and cover.
Void Ravens don't.
Void Ravens are AP4, which is a big deal.
Yes, they are.
Then you also have the Implosion missiles, the Shadow Shield missiles, or whatever. Which are not bad. Now, the Scythe is good. The Double Scythe's good, but it doesn't solve problems.
It doesn't solve problems, yeah.
Okay, so we have a 50, I believe, Danish krona.
I think so.
You can tell me if I'm wrong.
I have no idea.
From Sark, I gotta ask, you say Vect is less valuable. Does this also go for Calidus in Grey Knights, or does the Lone Op make up for 90 points? Also, Vect versus New Space Marine Armor of Contempt.
I'm not gonna lie, I think the Calidus would be worth it if she didn't have Vect.
Yeah, and that's the main reason why you take Calidus, is not for Vect. It's just she's a good unit. And then, like, oh, look at that, I have Vect. Yeah. And, like, Vect isn't nothing. If you can sideswipe into it, if you can be like, I'm taking a unit that does something else but also has Vect, beautiful, gorgeous. But if you have the points, I would take a Strike Squad over a Calidus.
Yeah.
But if you don't, there's not really that many ways to make up the points in Grey Knights, and a Calidus is chef's kiss.
I like the Calidus because she kind of goes up and down and does things and hits kind of funny hard in combat.
Yeah.
Not hard, but, like, she'll kill the last Intercessor.
All of which... like, strikes do better, but at 35 more points, if you don't have those points, a Calidus is great.
Yeah. The problem with the Archon is he does nothing else.
Yeah.
He is Vect, and that is it.
Yeah. And value Vect is not 75 points.
No.
Okay. So we've changed some of this stuff around. We have a clean 500 points. What are you thinking?
Here are the things that I want to add, just kind of loosely in no particular order. I want to add some Harlequin stuff. So, more Death Jesters, Void Weavers, or the Solitaire, I think, is great in Drukhari.
Okay, do you need to include any funny characters for that, or you just get them?
You just get them.
All right, sounds good.
You got up to 500 points of Harlequin stuff in your army.
Do Void Weavers get Power from Pain?
No.
So they're just
by themselves.
Okay.
With me, with the point increase, I think they are not that great anymore, because you also don't get the hit and wound reroll.
Are they 125?
They're 125.
Yeah, without the hit and wound reroll, they are less
attractive. The Ravagers 4, 5, and 6 in my mind.
That's fair. They're not, like, they're more expensive and less good, but, like, if you could take 6 Ravagers, you would.
A character I really like in Drukhari is the Solitaire. He just kind of runs around and kills stuff.
How many points is he?
He's 115. He's also another Ray Lone Op. Drukhari have a...
how many did you say?
115. Drukhari have a sitting on objectives in the open problem real bad, and there's not really any awesome lone operatives in the book, so adding some is great.
Are we thinking another Death Jester?
I think another Death Jester.
Okay, unfortunately you can't give it any enhancements.
Otherwise you'd give it Fate's Messenger.
Yeah, you would. So let me go ahead and add that in. Mm-hmm. Just to have something to stand in the open.
Yeah. They're also like 2 Death Jesters combine fire, and sometimes they kill something.
Yeah, you can't just leave your character there.
No.
Okay, so I think we have 2 other things we need to address here. Mm-hmm. One is I think we need at least one more nonsense unit.
Yep.
And I would love another source of lances.
I agree. So this list is screaming for a third squad of mandrakes.
Yes, it is.
Mandrakes are just incredible. They're honestly, I think, in my opinion, one of the best units in the book. They're so good.
They're very, very
They're very good.
Okay, so we add another squad of mandrakes, and that leaves us with 230 points left.
That sounds like... So, the best source of lances we can get is another Void Raven.
Do you want to go second?
I just want a second, yeah.
I think 3 might be a little much.
3 is too many, but 2 is enough for, like... Also, if they somehow survive, dropping double bombs can sometimes sort of kind of maybe do something.
Yeah, and they're not, like, the easiest to kill. They're not the hardest to kill, but if you do come off on a flank and you have lightning fast or whatever... Yeah. Do you have lightning fast?
They have stealth natively.
They have stealth natively?
Yes, they're one of the very few planes that actually has it.
So if you do end up, like, bringing them on, and then you also poke out your Ravagers and some other stuff, and, like, the Talos... Well, Talos might be about to exit the list. Yeah. If you... poke all that out, it's like, do I really want to shoot the stealth guys that are a little tougher, or do I want to shoot the Ravagers? And then the Void Ravens might stay up another turn.
Yeah, so you shot them and they both lived.
Yeah.
So
they're not free to kill. All right, so what are we looking at now?
How many points do you have left?
We have 35.
That is a very awkward number.
Is it?
There's nothing we can get for 35.
Is there something we can get for 125?
Almost certainly.
Okay.
So if we cut the Talos...
Because the Talos is definitely, like, hanging off the list as the last thing that...
Let me go to the app and just remind myself of the points of everything in the Drukhari index.
Here, did you want to just...
Yeah, let me just do that.
Use mine?
So what do we want to add? We have 125 now. So it's 2 small things or 1, like, big thing. Honestly, 125 is a Void Weaver on the nose.
Void Weaver on the nose.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate that either. So there's a comment here in the chat. It says, too much anti-tank, no answer to hordes. So there is a certain point. I don't know if Kronos actually, like, solved the horde problem.
No. I think the Kronos was more that, like, you need another Kronos for the pain tokens.
That could be true.
Yeah.
There's a point where Dark Lances kind of... You're not killing, like, 120 gaunts at speed. But, you know, like, at that point, things that normally don't come into play. Like, Solitaire can vaporize a squad. Yep, Death Jesters do some decent work. Mandrakes have good shooting into them.
The Beast actually very good killing those gaunts.
Right. Like, random nonsense actually kills them. The Reavers have, like, splinter pods or whatever. Yeah. The Void Raven has a blast missile. Like, the Ravagers can even charge.
The problem, then, is... The question is about... with how do we kill hordes as Drukhari? Is all of the anti-horde answers are not amazing.
They're not
and
great.
They're compromising into other matchups.
Yeah. The other thing is that, like, mid-range, like, stuff that isn't trying to be mass tank, and stuff that isn't trying to be, like, Gaunt Swarm, is going to die because we have enough Dark Lances. Yes. Like, Marines, just, like, on foot, Custodes on foot, things like that, where it's not a high toughness target and they might have a bunch. You can just be like, 3 guys died of the Ravager, 2 guys died of the Ravager, 3 guys died of the Void Raven, 2 guys died of Scourges, 3 guys died of Scourges, and just do that ad nauseum until eventually their army stops functioning.
Yeah. So chat says you want another Kronos to spread out. I don't dislike that, but the issue is when you're paying a lot of points to sort of get you sometimes.
Do Kronos have any kind of damage?
Not really.
Whatsoever?
They have, like, a funky flamer.
Okay. It might just be that you get some of your pain tokens back.
I think that's kind of the thought. They're not. I haven't found them to be that reliable or that important. I generally don't have an issue with pain tokens.
Because you're killing enough units, battle shocking enough units.
I tend to have enough. Honestly, there's 125 is a very awkward number. There's nothing that I want that we can get, like, either 2 of or 1 of. I think the best option here is just add another Void Weaver.
We could add a Void Reaver. There's also a suggestion for 1 Kronos and 1 Reaver.
Does that fit?
Yeah, it's 120.
Okay, I like that a lot better. Let's do that.
So we go to 3 units of 3 Reavers.
Yep.
And then 2 solo Kronos. Yep. And
the
Kronos are good at just, like, holding space generally.
Yeah, they can just sit in the back. They're great, like, cleanse things.
Yeah, you also don't need to treat them with any kind of respect. Like, you can throw a Kronos away on turn 2 and it's fine. It's totally fine.
They also are not... They're not free to kill. They require, like, an actual, like, thing from your opponent.
Yeah. So the problem with the Drukhari book is that you're going to end up with a lot of lists that are 3-ofs the army.
Yep.
Because Drukhari, for being an army that has a lot of options in the book, they're lying to you. They actually don't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
They kind of only have some things that they do well. and that is lances.
That's about it.
And then things with lances, there's not that many of them, you know? So you're going to end up, unfortunately, with 3 of the list because you end up with 3 mandrakes. Mandrakes are incredible, right? Ravagers are the best source of anti-tank you have.
Scourgers are the best source, second best source of anti-tank. Void to the third best source of anti-tank.
And, like, then you're done. Like, after that, you're finished. There's no, like, side grading. There's no units that do damage outside of those. So you need them, basically.
Yes.
But 3 Reavers, 3 Mandrakes, 2 Chronos, plus a Solitaire and 2 Death Jesters is and Beastback is plenty of, like, trash nonsense. So that means some of it doesn't have to be, right? Like, the Death Jesters can shoot for a decent part of the game and just, like, rack up some kills. Shoot some characters. The Mandrakes get to play a little safer, right? Beastpack doesn't necessarily need to get thrown away. So I quite like this. It ends up having a lot of lances.
Yes.
Right? This has 21 here, 24 technically if you want to think about it that way. And then 32 plus the missiles. That's a lot.
No, it's a lot of lances. It's a lot of lances.
It's a lot of lances.
It's a lot of lances.
It's a lot of lances. So there's talk in the chat about
Lilith Witches.
Lilith Witches.
I don't hate that. I actually quite like the Lilith Witches package.
But you like Lilith.
I like Lilith. I don't like Witches, and I don't like the Venom.
Yeah, so we played a game of Orcs and Lilith Witches. So my unit of Flash Gits, which are 2 wound toughness, 5 with a 4-up, hopped out and shot a bunch of stuff to death. And then Overwatch and shot a bunch of stuff to death. And Quinn's like, that's got to go.
He killed like 600 points in 2 activations.
Yeah, I think I shot something. I shot like a couple vehicles to death. And then on Overwatch, I picked up a 10-man Rax. Yeah. It's not about the Flash Gits. They're great in that matchup, no questions asked. But the point was, Quinton's like, that can't happen again. That needs to stop. So what he did was he took his kill squad of Lilith plus 10 witches and just ran it into these guys. Now, I am 2 wounds with a 4-up, right? I should disappear to witches, you would think.
I'm wounded on 6s, so...
Yeah, it ended up killing, like Lilith killed, 4.
Yeah.
The rest of the squad killed, 1, and then they got all killed.
No, Lilith is great. The witches are terrible.
Yes.
They're so bad.
Yes.
But the problem is, Lilith is only good with witches.
Right.
And you don't want to put a 10-man squad, so you have to put a 5-man squad. At that point, you're buying a Venom.
Yeah.
Like, it's so many hoops to jump through to get, like, what is, at the end of the day, a mediocre combat character.
Yeah.
Because she's good into infantry. If you're not infantry, she's terrible.
So, there's somebody saying that the list really wants to see vehicle spam Space Marines and Prey never sees Necrons. And the problem is, right, that Drukhari is that way.
Yeah.
You can either lean into what Drukhari does legitimately well.
Which is land spam.
Which is this list. Or you can
write a bad list.
You can take a list that will not beat Necrons because it's bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. There's no way to tech into killing warrior bricks in this army.
No.
You just don't have it. I don't think there's really an answer there. There's a reason why Drukhari ended up not as high on the tier list as other armies. And the way to compensate for that is do what you do well. Yeah. Not try to do everything.
Yeah. The Drukhari are just an army that, honestly, they are the army that right now, aside from AdMech, they just need a fundamental rewrite of the index.
Yeah.
The detachment doesn't do anything. A lot of the combat units need dramatic increases in how much damage they do, and all the lances need to be toned down.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. They need to do a lot more damage in melee and a bit less damage in shooting, and then they would be a well-balanced army that you can then go in multiple different directions. But, something like Marines or Eldar or something can afford to sacrifice what they're good at in order to take something to cover for Necrons, cover for things they're bad at. Drukhari just don't have that in their book, and if you try to side grade, you're going to end up with a bad list, unfortunately.
Yeah, the orcs did do me dirty there.
Yeah. All right, so Magnus the Blue, we're gonna save that question until the end. So we're gonna save super chats that aren't about the current list we're working at for the end, but we will get to it. Don't worry. That's right. Okay.
So up next.
All right. Up next, we've got Chris Frozen's Necrons, or Frozen, or however that's pronounced.
Sorry.
Whatever. Your Necrons! Yay! Speaking of Necrons, all right. So, if you want to pull that list up, if you want to read out
we have a Catacomb Command Bar for the Sovereign Chronal, Illuminator Xeris, a Lord, regular Necron Lords, Chronomancer, Plasmancer, 10 Immortals, 20 Warriors, 2 Crypto Thralls, 2 Crypto Thralls, 3 Ophidian Destroyers, 3 Ophidian Destroyers, a Canoptic Reanimator, a Monolith. What? Heavy Locust Destroyer, Heavy Locust Destroyers, 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers. Oh, it's 1/1/2.
It's 1/1/2.
And then 3 Scarabs and 5 Flayed Ones.
So, Chris Frozen says, good afternoon, you legends. Jack, Richard, Nick, et al. This is a teams list for a couple weeks' time that I keep going back and forward on around the core and can't quite decide on the frills. Team makeup is a standard Custodes, Wraith Heavy Eldar, and Vehicle Heavy CSM.
Okay.
Would love your input. I have every model, so no limitations there. Fire and Fade Immortals.
They are actually very good.
They are very good.
They are very good.
They've been great recently, but not sure in this concept because of the movement from the monolith. Okay. So, looking at this list...
So, first of all, we should just take a minute and acknowledge this as a teams list, not a singles list, which means what we're going to end up with is going to be different.
Yes. So, if we're looking at a Custodes list... What was it again? A Custodes list, a Wraith Heavy Eldar, and a Vehicle Heavy CSM.
So, that's 3 lists that are okay taking a punch.
Yes. And there's no way we write a Necrons list that isn't okay taking a punch.
So it seems like the skew here is everyone's going to be durable.
Everyone's going to be big tanky.
Yeah.
In terms of what you can kill, like I'm not really sure what you're weak to or strong to. That would require a lot of analysis.
Yeah.
With like a matchup chart and
it would be like 30 or 45 minutes at minimum of like going through and
and trying to figure it out and like the visual aids and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. But the point is, we can write a list that has some some strengths and some weaknesses, and it's okay.
Yes. Now, none of this is very good. Is like incredible into Eldar.
No.
Right? Which means because Necrons are legitimately very good into Eldar right now, so that means you don't really have a pin for it.
Agreed.
If you can take a list that is good into Eldar, right? Potentially, what you do is you try and pin them between Necrons and the Mirror.
Yes.
But
I think Wraith Eldar is worse in the Mirror.
It is worse in the Mirror, and also taking a pin to get the Mirror is a little
rough.
A little odd.
So I think what we want to do is we can write a Necron's First Defender. That way we can accept Eldar.
We can. If they throw... I mean, they won't throw Eldar into it, right? Like, they'd have to be crazy. But maybe they do. Yeah. I don't know. So, unfortunately, the best... If you can convince your team to take a second army that's good into Eldar... then Necrons as a pin into Eldar is very good. I.e., they put out Eldar as a defender, you put in Necrons in the other list, and they get wrecked.
Yeah, if you have Grey Knights or something like that.
Yes, Grey Knights, that requires, like, a lot of practice to play into Eldar.
Yeah. Chris in the chat says he was First Defender in his head.
Okay.
So, if you don't know how pairings work in a team format, First Defender is kind of the person that goes out first, and by virtue of their position, it means they get to play... They could play any member on the opponent's team, which means they kind of have to be ready for everything.
Yes. So let's talk about how to make a Necron First Defender. So a First Defender has to have all the edges filed off. There has to not be anything that you... Like an archetype you are particularly weak to. Mm-hmm. One army is kind of fine, but like an archetype is not.
Yes.
So something like... I don't know. Heavy shooting, right? Mm-hmm. If you're just weak to like a lot of anti-tank, for example, that would be bad. As is, if we look at this, right, you have the Catacomb Command Barge, and you have Immortals and Warriors, so you are pretty damn tanky. Mm-hmm. The Monolith, though, I think as a First Defender is not where you want the direction you want to go.
It's a fun singles list, but it's not like unless you're like married to it,
right?
But
so the reason the Monolith for a First Defender is not the way to go. Mm-hmm. I'm not even saying the Monolith is bad. At 350, it is quite aggressively costed.
Yeah.
The reason it's not great is because it opens you up.
Yes.
If your opponent has a lot of anti-tank, they can just smoke the Monolith.
Yeah.
And then you are in trouble over other things you could have taken.
It gives all those lances that your Drukhari list might have like a home.
Right. So that means they can actually pair their bad list into you. Mm-hmm. Right. Let's say they have... Now, to be fair, you have a lot of tanky armies, right? Mm-hmm. But Wraith Heavy Eldar doesn't really care about lances. Custodes can kind of care about... It's more like they can take a list that has some amount of anti-tank, and that some amount of anti-tank, as you said, will matter.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't take the Monolith...
If you just have Warriors or Immortals or whatever, they don't matter.
They don't matter. Like, you're going to take, like, 400, 500, 600, 800 points of their list and just make it very bad.
Yeah, like if you play a take all-comer Space Marines list and they have 2 Gladiator Lancers.
Those will do not a thing into you.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
So otherwise, they have a target to shoot at, and then 2,000 points of their army it gets to play the game.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't have a target for it, then they just don't. They get to kill 2 warriors.
What do Ophidian Destroyers do?
All right, good question. I
know they go back into reserves. They used to hit.
You know more about it than I do, then.
I read the data sheet once a while ago.
So in terms of melee weapons, they are
okay.
They're okay. They have 5 attacks. They're custodies if they hit on 3s and were strength 4.
Yeah.
And didn't have lethal.
They're okay at killing Space Marines.
Yes. At the end of your opponent's turn, they can go into reserves. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just anytime they want, and they show up more than 9 inches away. They will win decent amounts of nonsense BS skirmish fights.
I actually don't hate that.
I don't hate it. For 100 points, they're not
I
bad.
really like Swooping Hawks. And Swooping Hawks don't do anything. And they're 25 points cheaper. So you're paying 25 points for a little better durability.
Yeah, they do reanimate. It is you do have to get all of them.
They're OC2. They'll win the skirmish fight. I don't know. I actually quite like them.
Yeah, I actually think they're pretty dang good. And they get dev wounds once a game.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. I don't hate them, honestly. Jimmy Guy, we super appreciate your super chat. We're going to save that one till the end.
Yes.
And then we'll get to it. So any super chats about the list we're currently working on, we'll get to right away. Otherwise, we will get to it at the end. But don't worry, we'll get you.
Okay. So Ophidian Destroyers, they can probably stay.
Yep. Maybe 2 units, maybe not. But because we have 1 unit of Flayed Ones, 2 units of Ophidian Destroyers, a Scarab. It's not bad.
I think 4 units is optimum trash.
Yeah, that's probably right.
That's probably right.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
The Monolith, I'm just going to say right now, for the reasons that we talked about, if you are a first defender, and even for singles, honestly, because you're going to run into people with some amount of anti-tank, and then it gets to exist.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Monolith is going away. Not because the Monolith is bad. I actually don't think the Monolith is bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's just cheap, not what this list wants to do.
Cheap-ish for what it is. It's tough.
It's toughness 14, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big tough.
Yeah.
But Lancers get to have fun, whereas now they just don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so we end up with because this was 20 points under, we end up with 370 points, which is a decent.
What do those warriors have?
So the warriors, what do they have?
Chronomancer, that's what they have.
So they will have a Lord and a Chronomancer.
So the Plasmancer...
No, the Chronomancer gives them Fire and Fade, I believe. So that'll go into the Immortals.
And then the Plasmancer gives... Was it lethal 5s or something? Critical 5s for the Mortals?
The Plasmancer, I believe it's something like that.
There's too many Cryptex.
Yeah, critical 5s, and then does a small amount of Mortals at 18-inch range.
What if we... Is that Plasmancer better than a Technomancer?
No.
I would way rather have a 5 of Field of Pain.
Or, what I'd really rather... I mean, so the Catacomb... the Illuminar Xeris gives them Armor of Contempt.
Yeah.
What I really would like for them is either one of 2 things. A Technomancer plus Hypermaterial.
Yeah.
So that they get cover and Armor of Contempt on a 4-up.
Okay.
And then
so
a 5 of
the Immortals or the Lord and the Chronomancer. I think those warriors are crying out loud for a Technomancer, because I've done all kinds of math on killing warriors with either a 4-up Invuln or a 5 of Field of Pain, and I almost never hit that breakpoint, but I get 17 warriors every time.
And if you don't have defensive buffs...
The number of units that can effectively kill 20 warriors without those defensive buffs, triples.
Yes. And if it's very binary, if they can kill the warriors, you are in capital T trouble.
Yeah.
If they can just do it, then you are in trouble. All they need to do, they don't need to do damage,
is survive.
They just need to survive.
Yeah. So basically, it doesn't matter. It's about limiting the number of units that can effectively kill you. Because if the only units that can kill you are 10 Chaos Space Marine Terminators with Abaddon the Destroyer, or Abaddon the Despoiler.
The Despoiler, yeah.
Yeah. Then you're probably okay, because you just avoid that one unit, right?
Yes.
But if it's also 10 Scorpions and Karandras can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, 20 warriors with no defensive buffs, other than Armor of Contempt, Custodes walk into that, and they walk out the other side.
Yep.
And that's just an entire faction. Same deal for, I don't know. As you said, there's so many more units that can just kill 20 warriors when they don't have any defensive buffs.
I agree. So I think we replace the Plasmancer with either Oracan or a Tech Down. So it doesn't really matter.
The way that you're thinking about it, Chris, is that he says, if you can kill warriors, it doesn't matter if they're a 4+ invuln or not. So put something more toolboxy in there. Unfortunately, the way you're thinking about it, I think, is slightly off. Mm-hmm. It's not they will kill them or they won't. So it doesn't matter what defensive buffs are on there. If you don't have defensive buffs, they die way easier. So more units hit that breakpoint. Yeah. And that means you are in substantially more trouble.
Yeah, it's about limiting the number of units that can crack the squad in one activation.
Yeah. All that matters about warriors is that they live and that they're on objectives. Yeah, that is it.
Only thing
anything else there about damage, about toolbox, about any of that is fluff. And it doesn't, in the end, matter. Mm-hmm. The thing that matters is that two things. Don't die, hold objectives.
That's literally it.
That's all you got.
If you never fire a shot with your warriors, you're probably running them correctly.
Yeah. Like, just advance around the board, onto objectives, charge onto objectives, take hits, reanimate. All you need to do is not die. Mm-hmm. Because it's not even like, okay, things hit the breakpoint now that wouldn't if you didn't have defensive buffs. It's also things that could kill 15 without defensive buffs.
Now kill 20.
High roll a little bit and then
20.
Kill you. And then that's like every army in the game can have the like 30% chance to kill 20 warriors without any defensive buffs. Yeah. Like, every single army you will see will have the ability to just be like, I rolled a little higher than average, you're dead. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you put full defense on the list, then it is some armies have the ability to high roll you. Most armies have to high roll you. Yeah. And many armies have no options. Mm-hmm. So the decision for me is, do we want to put Oracan or do we want to put a techno?
I like Oracan because, as chat says, sometimes he randomly pops off and just smokes something.
Yes.
Which is actually valuable.
And also, as they pointed out in chat, the Crypto Thralls are bastards.
They're so annoying.
They are bastards with a 4-up invuln.
If you want to watch me suffer, if you are into that sort of thing, there's a video in the war room right now where I play Siegs as Necrons and do not kill a single unit the entire game.
Yes. And it did not matter that Siege wasn't doing damage to you. Nope. Did not matter.
My army got to activate on him for 5 turns, and I didn't kill anything.
Yep. And Siege was scoring 15s every turn and doing a little dance.
I was just like stuck in combat with warriors for 5 turns.
Yep. That's all I need to do. Mm-hmm. So you can take Oracan, mm-hmm. and you can take a Technomancer with the Hypermaterial Ablator. What I think we're going to do here is we're going to take Oracan.
Yep.
And then we're going to put the Hypermaterial Ablator in the other unit of Immortals.
I will say the Immortals are actually quite annoying.
Yes.
They're like legitimately actually very annoying.
And they are just 10 wounds, right? Yes. They are just 10 wounds of dudes. So you need every defensive buff to make sure your opponent doesn't just randomly cap them, right?
Okay. Another thing that this is relatively minor, but we'll get to in a bit, mm-hmm. is there's a Sovereign Colonel on this list. I don't think there's anything in here that needs the +1 to hit buff.
It's only the heavy... I know what... Well, no, because they're already getting led, the Immortals and the Warriors. Yeah. So it would only be the Locust Heavy.
So my point is, let's change that out for the Sempiternal Weave.
Yes. Because, again, you need to make sure that your game plan works.
Yes.
And...
that guy with the 4-up Feel No Pain is way more annoying to kill than that guy without a 4-up Feel No Pain.
Yes. And so here's the big thing, right? If you watched my how to build a list thing in the war room, if you watch my video on how to build a list, mm-hmm. you find a thing that your army does, and you focus your army around doing that thing as well as possible. Mm-hmm. The Catacomb Command, your army design is to take hits and remain stealing objectives away from people.
Yep.
That is your game plan going in, especially as a first defender. And your idea is you're going to take shots, you're going to stay on objectives, and you're going to do that as best as possible. And then everything past that is stuff to help you do that job.
Yeah.
So we have things like, again, in the same vein as 20 warriors need as many defensive buffs, is because we're doing the thing you're trying to do as well as possible.
Yes.
Don't undermine your core mm-hmm. core game plan for your army, because that will end poorly. So the similar thing is the Catacomb Command Barge lets you hold objectives from your opponent. Right?
Yep.
You take them away, they're yours now, enjoy.
Yeah, OC3 warriors are the point where, like, I put 3 guys on it, now your army can't take it.
Or you battle shock, you're still OC1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So that means the Catacomb Command Barge can't randomly die.
No. Otherwise, it will die to, like, 3 Night Spinners.
Yep. If it dies to 3 Night Spinners, then your game plan is effed.
Yeah.
It is.
It's real bad.
You're in bad shape. So you cannot afford to let that happen, which means that we need to fully protect, and that means we are going to put the Sempiternal Weave on. The other half of this is it makes it much cheaper.
Yep.
160 instead of 180.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have all of this. We have Orcan, we have the Chronomancer, and the Lord, which are good in the Immortals. What does the Lord do for the Immortals? I think just makes them move a little faster.
Yeah. I remember liking him. I forget exactly what
So he lets you target a unit with stratagems even if you're battle shocked, which I quite like.
I actually don't hate him. I think he's worth it.
I think he is quite worth it. I think I'd probably put him in the Warriors.
I agree.
But the Immortals, it's fine. You could honestly spring for a second one. Mm-hmm. But what I want for the Chronomancer is I want to, again, make the unit as durable as possible. No Sempiternal Weave. This is going to be the Hyper Material Ablator.
Can I just say that I absolutely love the Necron Ragalic names?
Yeah.
They are always bangers.
Didn't you steal them for your D&D campaigns?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time.
So if the Chronomancer has Hyper Material Ablator, what that means is that your unit is -1 to hit, and gets the benefits of cover at all if your opponent's over 12 inches.
Lord also has a Resorb.
Lord has a Resorb.
That is why he's there.
Which is very good. The Catacomb Command Barge can pick the Warriors to Resorb, and then Lord can Resorb the Immortals.
Or whichever the other way around.
Yes. So I actually quite like this now. You can put a Lord in the Warriors, and we might if we have enough points left, but we have 340. What do we need in the list?
So I would like to go more durability. I really want a Ghost Arc.
Go what? A Ghost Arc? A Ghost Arc is quite good. So if we take a Ghost Arc, something has to start in there, but that could be Xeris.
Sure. Yeah. Or the Flayed ones or something. The Flayed one I think Deep Strike.
And this
Chronomancer already gives -1 to hit. So do we need it to have the Hyper Material?
Always having the benefit of cover is nice. It's probably not that important then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I
also didn't upgrade I didn't update his points cost either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Fine.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
Well, we could give it to the Lord, right? If the Lord and Orcan are going to join the Warriors.
If the Lord and Orcan join the Warriors, then yes. The problem is you would then ignore AP0 and you take AP0 and AP1 on a 3-up, and you're -1 to hit. -1 to hit on the
It's
Warriors
actually
would
worth
be
it.
very nice.
I think it's worth it.
It's only from shooting, but still, shooting is how a decent number of people will try and get through it. Let's leave it off for now,
Okay.
and we'll consider it in a bit. But the Ghost Arc, I think, is for sure very good.
Because that again, we're going back to the Warriors that reanimate twice is so annoying.
Yeah, reanimate twice in each phase, and then Resorb. Yeah. So we could go even more durability and take a second squad of Immortals with a Chrono. I don't know if you need the Lord, to be honest. Just a Chrono Immortals package.
That package is pretty cheap and actually kind of, and then more
for 190. Yeah.
And we have two crypto holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're just big, thick, and I already know that Chris Frozen likes the Immortal package, so I don't think he's going to be a tough sell here.
No. I think the Immortal package is quite worth it.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, if we have points left over, a Galactopus is also pretty good.
Yep. I think we probably have enough nonsense.
I was so.
hoping to upgrade maybe the Locust Heavy Destroyers, but they're kind of not that great.
Yeah, they're not.
But none of the shooting options in Necrons are amazing.
It's the DDAs, but they're so expensive.
They are. They're 210 now. Mm-hmm. So if we do this, right, we toss out another squad of Immortals. This way you can cover the whole board in dudes.
Yeah. Chris Frozen has 60 Immortals, so he says that's not a problem.
Sweet. This way you can cover the whole board in dudes.
Can Illuminator... He's infantry, right? He can go through... He can go into Ghost Arc?
I believe so. That's what Richard told me anyway.
Someone has to start in there.
Keywords... Yeah, he's infantry, even though he's the size of a tank.
He just goes in the...
Yeah, he can start in or
Or flayed ones.
Something. Ophidians probably can't. No. They might be infantry, though. I don't know. Okay, so this looks like enough durability for me, which is good because we are 50 points left.
Yep. So which gives us 1 trash nonsense unit.
Yep. Or
2
we upgrade to 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers somewhere.
I don't hate that. Let's just do that, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's 1 more shot that could sometimes do something.
Yeah. The question is, do we want this Lord? He's not bad. He gives you +1 move.
I think the Resorb is worth it.
Oh, yeah, he is a Resorb. Sorry, my bad.
The Resorb makes it worth
it. We want it.
Yeah.
So if we take this...
And it becomes that, yeah.
Yeah. That is 2K on the nose.
I like this list.
Yeah.
This is very similar to what Siegs ran into me.
We could even cut like flayed ones and end up with another Locust Heavy Destroyer. I think it's fine. Single Locust, I believe, are 40 points, I want to say.
I don't think this list needs more like Trash Mission play. It has enough.
It does have enough. Yeah. It does definitely have enough. I mean, what we could do, right, is we could swap these guys out, both the Scarabs and the flayed ones, for 2 Locust Destroyers. And I believe we make, 30 points there. Or we make 40 points there and 10 points here. That could get us another Locust Heavy Destroyer.
We already have 3 units though, right? So we can't get more.
Oh, there's Locust Heavy and there's Locust Destroyers.
Oh, right.
Locust Destroyers are 30 points. And they are absurdly cheap. And they just start in reserves and come on and do secondaries.
I'll defer to you.
I want more I like Destroyers.
Okay.
So, Locust Destroyer. If I've not done my math right, then this is about to become very embarrassing.
And they have OC, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. It's just a squad that you're, for whatever reason, allowed to take 1 of.
I see.
And then that goes away, and we get another squad of 2. I mean, this is a lot of nonsense. You could combine this into 2 squads of 3. I'm not feeling one way or another particularly on this one. Let me make sure that this fits.
We went up 110. We should be good there,
yeah. Yeah, I think we are good. Math, my head math tells me we're fine.
Yeah.
But I need to make sure that's true. I like the Ophidian Destroyers here. I
actually quite like them, yeah.
Need to remove those, add that, remove this. I got a little lax on
adding things.
I
think we didn't add the crypto thralls.
Yeah, I don't think I added the crypto thralls.
So we're 60 points over.
We are 60 points over.
Which is...
we could cut both Locust Destroyers. I don't think that's going to happen. No. I think we cut a squad of Locust Heavy Destroyers.
And we had a squad of Scarabs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what probably happens. Sad, but Canoptic Scarab Swarm. I don't think that I just didn't add in the
Crypto Thralls.
The Crypto Thralls, unfortunately. Or get rid of that. Ooh, there we go. This has a lot of trash and a lot of bulk.
I actually like this list.
Yep. I think it's quite good. The main point...
Chat says we can't start Illuminary in the Ghost Arc. I thought it was 10 warriors and an infantry character.
Why can't you start Illuminary?
Well, let me read this really quick. Ghost Arc.
Okay, well that might be why.
Transport. This model has a transport capacity of 10 Necron warriors and 1 Necron infantry character model.
Yep.
So the question here is that 10 warriors and an infantry model, or 10 Necron warriors and 1 infantry model? So that is an Ask Your TO question. Can you put 1 character in there, or does the 1 character have to be attached to the Necron warriors?
I'm feeling so simplified right now.
Yeah. If there was like a comma that could go there.
If only. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah. He is not a monster. He is an infantry character.
Yeah. He could go in there.
He can go in there.
The question is just... I personally read this as his 10 Necron warriors. Has a transport capacity of 10... Is it attached?
No, it's not. I think it is. It can include an infantry character model and 10 warriors. I don't think it requires them to both be in there.
No, so you can just put...
You just put Xenos in there.
Yeah.
If your TO rules otherwise, then you have to cut points to get a 10-man in there, or you don't. You just got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to include 1 character model and 10 warriors. And what that means is you can include 1 character model, it does not die.
Yep.
If your TO rules alternately, then you can either cut it or whatever. All right. Jimmy Locatelli, $2 super chat. Thoughts on 10 Immortals plus Plasmancer plus Anrakir?
What does Anrakir do?
That's a great question.
He's usually plus 1 AP in combat.
I think he's plus 1 attack.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Sorry.
Yes. Oh, no, plus 1 to wound when you make any attack. And then you pick an enemy vehicle unit within 12 inches, takes a leadership check, and if they fail it... If they pass, -1 to hit. If they fail, no shooty. He's all right.
He's all right.
He's all right. I think you want defense more than any of that.
I completely agree.
And let me see how many points he is. He is 95.
Yeah, probably
so
not.
Yeah, probably not. Yes. So I actually like this list quite a bit. Mm-hmm. The 2 Locust Heavy Destroyer units could be like, I don't know. You could cut the destroyers, and there's a lot of fiddle room in this space, but to me, this feels really sad. Yeah. Right? The stuff on the right can be messed around with, less shooting, more shooting, whatever. Mm-hmm. The stuff over here just feels really solid.
Yeah, I agree. That feels really good. One thing to think about, I thought occurred to me about the Ghost Arc and Illuminar Go in it, is if the way it's worded is it's 10 models and a character, if the character has to be attached to the Necron Warriors, and the Warriors have to be attached to the character, and then you couldn't put a naked 10 men in there.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
So I'm pretty sure that you can just put the character in there.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds right to me. Now that you put it that way.
Yeah.
The last thing I think would be the weapons on the units.
Oh, as to whether or not you get.
I think you take the Gauss Reaper.
Well, can you take 1 flare?
What's up?
There's 1 that's assault, right?
No, not on warriors. Lethal hits rapid fire 1 or lethal hits.
Whatever.
So I think you take Reapers.
Okay.
And then on Immortals...
I like 1 Gauss, 1 Tesla.
I don't know really the difference between them. Oh, one of them shoots 1,000,000 shots and is assault, and one of them is not.
Yeah.
And is longer range, though.
Well, they're going to have to be AP2. So I think you take 1 each.
That's a question to tag Siegs with, I'm pretty sure. Because
Siegs ran 1 of each.
Siegs ran 1 of each? Okay, then that's probably what he wants to do.
Yeah. And then the Heavy Destroyers, we want to give them the Destructors or the Emitic thingamajiggers.
The Emitic Annihilators?
I think this list wants anti-tank.
That's probably true, but I don't really think 4 shots is great anti-tank.
That's true, it doesn't do anything.
Doesn't really. I mean, what we could do...
But I think having a prayer of doing something is better than...
What we could do is we could take 3 Heavy Destroyers with the Emitic Annihilators and take out, like, a character to give them instead of 4. I don't know.
I think it's fine.
I think it's
fine.
I think this is
the most changeable.
Yeah, you can flex that to whatever you're personally feeling. Mm-hmm. This part, as I said, feels real solid.
I completely agree.
All right. So, the nice part about Tesla is they are assault.
Yep.
Which means you can advance and do actions.
Yay.
It also depends a lot on your target.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last list of the day
Eldar
is Eldar.
For the Craftworlds.
That's a lot less units.
It's a lot less units. Double Wraithguard.
Yeah, this list is big thickums.
So this list is what I took to Crucible with no Avatar and another squad of Wraithguard.
Yes.
More or less.
So what would you change?
Right off the bat, Jack, this absolutely must happen. That Death Jester cannot have Fate's Messenger. It must go on a Spirit Seer.
I saw that and I was like, I also think 85 is the wrong points cost. The list is correct. It's just sometimes I get the graphic wrong.
Used to be that much, I think.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
So he is not having Fate's Messenger. I'm sorry.
90 flat.
He's going on a Spirit Seer. Quinton will be having words with you.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so here's why. Fate's Messenger is flip a hit, wound, or save for the units, for the character or the attached unit. Would you rather have that on the Death Jester, who gets either triple exploding 6s or 2 dev wounds, or on the Wraithguard that get d6 damage dev wounds? The really big one, though, is the Death Jester never really gets shot, and having saves on the Wraithguard is amazing.
Yeah, because it's once per turn,
Once
right?
per turn.
So on your opponent's turn, you flip a die to a 6 on save, and on your turn, you flip a die to a 6 on a wound.
Yeah.
Or you can flip a die to a 6 on Overwatch. Like, there's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah, it's really good. It's the save part that really pushes it over the edge for me.
Yeah, because you just blank a failed save every time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be biased here.
As John said, if you give an Alpha 6 up...
Yeah, if you give an Alpha 6 up, it's a 1-up. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but unit passes 2 guaranteed every turn is great.
Yeah, because I hand you AP 5, but you're in cover, so you auto-pass 2 of them. Oh!
That is correct.
Every turn.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to be unbiased. Sorry, is what I meant to say.
Okay. So... What do I want to do with this list is the question. So, why don't we just go ahead and say we're going to keep the Wraith Guard and the Spirit Seers.
So, 20 Wraith Guard and 2 Spirit
Seers. So, we are committing, we are going to write a 20 Wraith Guard list.
So, everybody in the chat who's like, boo, Eldar, this is like our first Eldar list on Fix My List in like the last 3 months. Mm-hmm. And also, Eldar players are people too. I just found out.
We are, actually.
I just found out.
Very surprising, but we are people too.
And also... Fixing a list is kind of universal, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's all be chill.
Okay.
So what do we got?
So the next thing I really want is I want a unit of Swooping Hawks in here.
Okay, why do you like Swooping Hawks so much?
So I really like the ability to go up into the sky and then come down like turn 4 or 5 and just do something random.
Well, I am going to replace this. Because we do not have the points to be...
and the 1-1-1, I find is a great combination.
1 Warp Spider, 1 Shadow Spectre, 1
Swooping Hawks. It's the number I like.
In that way, whatever you have that you need to do with your infantry, you have like a scalpel.
Because they all do different things. So in my head, I actually kind of like how this works out. Warp Spiders are 20 points better than Shadow Spectres. Shadow Spectres are 20 points better than Swooping Hawks. And Swooping Hawks are 20 points better than Rangers. And they're 20 points each. So I kind of actually view those 4 units as the same, but just like upgrades of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a quick question for you. Do we want a Farseer on foot?
That's a great question.
Because -1 to wound Wraithguard are assholes.
I think so. I think because with 1 unit of Wraithguard, it's not as necessary because they phantasm a lot. 2 units of Wraithguard, only 1 can Phantasm, so the second one is much less good.
Yes.
So I think you probably definitely want Fortune for the one that's going to stay in the open.
And in a similar vein to why I replaced Shadow Spectre with Swooping Hawks.
I think that Death Jester...
And Farseer is 90?
Farseer is, I believe, 90.
I'll double check the foot cost. Because the bike was 115 with the Phoenix Gem. The foot Farseer is...
I want to say 90.
80.
80? Oh, wow.
Jerk.
I know the bike Farseer is 90.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so with that, with those changes, we have 40 points.
40 points.
40 points. The question here remains, right? So we have good HQs here.
Yep, that's locked.
Good here.
That's locked. That's not changing.
Wraithguard is not changing if the Spiritsters aren't changing. Yeah. So the remaining points...
is that.
And I'm not saying like we're going to spend forever on this.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we should replace those Fire Prisms with Warwalkers.
Okay.
I think Warwalkers are just better.
We need more stuff in this list.
That's exactly my thought.
More anti-tank is not really necessary. No. Warwalkers have it by accident.
But the Warwalkers are also stuff.
I'm stuff. They're 110?
110, yeah. With 2 Brown Lances.
Okay. So with that, we get Warwalker number 1 and for sure number 2.
Yep. And
the question is...
That gives us 140, so we're at 280? 180?
We just need more stuff in more places doing more things.
Yes.
Because if you have 2 bricks of Wraithguard, you can't really also have fire and fading fire prisms. You need things to hold ground.
Yes.
So
there's not an avatar on this list. In my list, I hold the ground with the avatar.
So with this, we end up with 180 points.
So
we could get a second Night Spinner. We could get a Warwalker and end up with enough points for another nonsense unit. So we could do Warwalker plus like a squad of Rangers, or we could get Illic and 10 Rangers. Which do you think is better here?
I don't think probably the Warwalker and 5 Rangers. I've been kind of underwhelmed by Illic, honestly, because the problem is he's never getting Phantasm, so his ability is much less relevant.
Yeah, they just walk up within range and then point guns at the Wraithguard and go, yeah, and then you go, and then then you run away.
So then we're gonna add 5 Rangers. The Rangers are great because they are the first thing to die every game.
And you need something to be that.
They're 55, yeah.
Yeah. So if we include another Warwalker here, and then we include 5 Rangers.
3 Warwalkers is also the point where your opponent can't walk tanks into the open anymore.
Yes, because you will shoot them hard. You end up with 15 points left here. Is that an enhancement?
It is. It's Reader of the Runes, I think. Or not Reader, sorry. It's
Reader of the... It's the Weeping Stones. Yes.
It's Weeping Stones. Put it on the other spirits here.
Yep. Every time the Bear's unit kills something, you get a fate die, which is huge, actually.
It's actually not. You don't run out of fate dice. The big thing is you can roll for extra 6s.
I played Eldar for the first time in the last weekend as a practice partner.
Yeah.
And I ran out of fate dice.
What?
He had a bunch of indirect, and he killed my Farseers.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Fence the Penguin. We're thoughts on Triple Webway Gate? My friend tells us it's going to be good. I think Triple Webway Gate is the best list, and I'm actually considering taking it to the GW Finals in Atlanta.
Yeah, it seems real solid,
yes.
Especially when you add in every transport with nothing to go in them.
They all die.
Yeah. I know this meme. You will not get me, Kyle. You will not get me.
Yes. Okay.
All right, so this list has substantially more stuff than the previous list had, right? We've split the 2 Fire Prisms that do not like to go forward and take damage with 3 Warwalkers that are much better at it, and they scout. We have another unit of infantry to hold ground, as well as taking one... Oh, not Fate's Messenger. This is going to be...
Weeping Stones.
Weeping Stones. And are you still happy with Phoenix Gem on the Farseer?
I've gone back and forth.
On the Sky
so
Runner?
many times as to which Farseer gets the gem, and I honestly have come to the conclusion it does not matter. There's some matchups that it's better to have it on the bike. It's some matchups it's better to have it on the Fortune Girl. Personally, I like it on the bike a little bit more, just because if a Farseer needs to go forward, it's often the bike's here because he has a better movement and then he dies. That's really the answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Like in the Chaos Knight matchup, it's better to have it on the Foot Chick, because she dies to Havoc Launchers, and the bike guy doesn't really die to Havoc Launchers in one turn.
Yeah.
But in other matchups, it's better to have it on the bike. It's very matchup dependent. It's kind of like whichever one you put it on doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so we have an extra squad of foot guys to do foot guy things. We have 3 Warwalkers instead of 2 Fire Prisms to go take space in the middle of the board.
Yep.
We have enhancements on the guys that want them. We have an extra Farseer in here to give fortune to a unit of Wraithguard.
Also, I find having 2 Farseers is really nice redundancy on your
the Fate die thing
on branching fates. Yeah.
You just don't have one guy get sniped down and you're like, my 6s, no.
It's actually kind of an issue if you lose him really early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This list is terrifying. This list is one of the best lists in the game.
Oh, it's very good. It's very, very good.
It's very, 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 very good. Wraithguard, I do think single Wraithguard is better than double unless you go all in.
I agree. Here's the issue specifically with double Wraithguard is that the second unit of Wraithguard is way less good than the first unit of Wraithguard.
It isn't guided. It isn't fortuned.
It doesn't Phantasm. It doesn't have Fate's Messenger.
Fortune is less important because 1 Fortune, 1 Fate, 1 Phantasm, and that's a synergy. But it isn't Fate Messenger. It isn't guided. And that's big. Like those are both big.
Yeah, and then you're not really taking 2 Guide Seers anymore.
You can always also Fire and Fade and Phantasm, but
that's all your CP you're ever going to get.
All your CP every time.
And then you have Overwatching, you have Grenade Stratting, exactly.
Yeah, but I think potentially a very strong list is something like Avatar, Double Wraithguard, Triple Night Spinner, and supporting characters, which is a list that is legal and you can play it. Don't do that though. You will lose friends.
You will lose all your friends.
You will lose all your friends.
Yeah, that list is gross.
Our list is pretty gross. But this list is also really gross.
It is.
For the record. All right, so let's address the super chats.
Yep.
That were not about the specific lists that we were working on.
Okay, I believe we had one from Magnus the Blue.
Magnus the Blue, how do I score best with a Monster Mash Demon list?
Make sure you have enough Lone Ops in there and other trash units.
Yes.
So Changeling, Blue Scribes, things like that.
So a bunch of Pink Horrors is also... So, don't just take monsters.
Yeah.
Take, almost all monsters and then, 400 points of Lone Ops and...
Flamers.
And, Pink Horrors and Nurglings. Things to score points.
Yeah.
Right, Nurglings deep strike in and do a secondary, and Pink Horrors deep strike 3 inches away and steal your opponent's objectives with a million OC and then are kind of annoying to kill. So you need to make sure there's a balance. Now, the balance doesn't need to be 50-50, 1,000, 1,000, but 1,600, 400. You want to make sure it's not...
That's where you want to be, yeah.
It's not just Monster Mash.
Because if you take only monsters, then
then you will get outscored every year.
Yeah.
Jimmy Guy comes back again with a $5 super chat. Do you like 20-man Crusader squads running across the board as Black Templars? Is your Black Templar Redemptor list just better than a more infantry-based list?
I think so.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
I don't like the 20-man Crusader squads.
They're big and they're chunky.
They're big and they're chunky. They're vulnerable to blast.
Very vulnerable to blast.
They're also vulnerable to losing like 14 guys out of the unit and then just being 6 Space Marines in a trench coat running around.
Well, like the other thing is like if you lose 6 guys, your unit's efficiency is way down. Whereas if the Redemptor loses 11 wounds, it's not really that hampered.
There's also a lot of things in the game that are like AP 2, damage 2.
Yeah.
And that rips into Crusader squads.
Doesn't do anything.
And it does absolutely nothing to Redemptors. Because you can cover Armor of Contempt and you're taking 2 ups and 1 damage.
Yeah.
Whereas into the Crusader squads, you are getting ripped apart by that.
Yeah. They're vulnerable to getting shit. Also, without Oath, they like don't do a lot of damage.
They don't. You have to go lethal hits and full rerolls and everything. And there is basically the way it works is like 90% of offense is bad into Redemptors.
Yes.
100% of offense does damage to Crusaders.
Like even things like the Hawks in this list, I wouldn't bother shooting at Redemptors. I would shoot them at Crusaders because I might kill a guy or two.
Yeah, you might kill a guy or two, but like most of the mid-level damaging units will kill Crusaders. Yeah. Will kill enough that it'll hurt. Whereas they won't even scratch the paint on Redemptors. Yeah. Redemptors in Black Templars are really, really good. Yeah. The one thing, literally, if you're thinking about taking my Black Templar list, you take it, you take out the Blade Guard that I threw in because I just wanted to play with my own models. Mm-hmm. And you put in like an Eversur and like a unit of infiltrators or something, right? Yeah. Some scoring. Two units that score, either lone ops or whatever. The Eversur's pretty good. You just basically replace it with 2 to 3 units, right? You can go Eversur, Inquisitorial Henchman, or you can go Eversur, a unit of Space Marines, or whatever. Scouts are really good, so if you can find a way to put
Scouts are great.
Scouts are great. So that's probably what I would do with it going forward. All right.
Member for 9 months.
Yes, Red Rum member for 9 months. Love the Jack Theory videos. Please keep them coming. What Custodes list would I take if I played on WTC terrain at a GT tomorrow? Thank you for the content, and please keep feeding Quinton. We need him healthy. Well, you're helping out there, honestly.
I know, yeah.
This is be the change you want to see in the world. But if I were to take Custodes to an event tomorrow, WTC terrain is not bad for like all infantry. It's not terrible for that. You could take like 3 normal units. I fell pretty deeply in love with Draxus plus 5 Custodian Guard.
Wow, that unit.
Yeah, Quinton was on PC. Quinton was on PC when that unit just casually flatlined 6 Gravis Inceptors in shooting.
Yeah.
In shooting. Just casually. Like, didn't even have to work that hard. Just
it also wasn't the unit, it was just Draxus.
Yeah, Draxus killed 5, the unit killed 1.
Yeah.
Because Draxus, when, she shoots harder than she should.
Yeah.
But then she also rerolls all of her wounds.
And has shoot twice.
And shoots twice. And she rerolls her wounds with anti-infantry 4+ dev wounds, damage 2, 4 shots. And then an indirect gun that hits pretty damn hard. And when you reroll your wounds and have and then shoot twice, she does do wildly more damage than she should. She also gives the unit unable to be shot outside of 18, and then in combat they cover her, although she's not terrible in combat either. They do ridiculous amount of damage, and they're not that expensive. Mm-hmm. I believe a 5-man squad plus Drax is 325, which is not bad. I love that unit. That unit is great.
Yes.
The Terminators are still quite good because they hit insanely hard out of a rapid ingress. Yeah. I like Venatari with either 1 or 2 shields and the rest spears because you can mix and match units. It's really good. And then, 2 6-mans coming out of reserves with rapid ingress because you can rapid ingress both of them for free because their data sheet rule specifically says you can make rapid ingress free and do it again, which lets you supersede the restriction on which stratagems you can use. That's really good. If you wanted to go a 5-brick list with some trash in there, you can. It's not bad. You take like Draxus and the unit, and then you take 2 units to come out of strategic reserves, probably double Venatari in my opinion, and then like 2 units of Wardens I think would be pretty solid, and then Wardens as much trash as possible. Alternatively, you take a 3-brick list with triple Caladius, I think is also quite good.
That was also good.
Yes.
You tore John apart.
I did in fact end the game on turn 2 against John's Firestorm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like so 2 things I would include in every list basically is the Wardens plus Ceaseless Hunter Blade Champ package. That package is really good. So 5 Wardens plus a Blade Champ plus Ceaseless Hunter, great. Draxus plus 5 Custodian Guard, great. And then the rest of the list can be like either 1 unit of Venatari, 3 Caladius, and a bunch of trash, or 2 Venatari, another unit of Wardens with a captain probably, and then a bunch of trash. Yeah. And that's probably where I would end it. I do like having at least 1 captain in there, so try and figure a way out around that. But that's basically where I put the list. I actually think Custodians are really good. I would be happy to run them to Tampa. It's just I am very excited about 4 armies all at the same time. And my Venatari are not in yet. They have not arrived yet. We'll get there. So,
all right.
Let's go back to the live chat. And welcome to Magnus the Blue to the War Room Bronze. Glad to have you here.
Yep. Any final closing thoughts? Were you on the stream?
Final thoughts, as Frank's asked if Kaldor, if you want to take Drago and Grey Knight list, you always take Drago and Grey Knight list. He is the man. All right, that's my ending thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Drago's the man. All right, this has been a lot of fun.
I know.
And we will see you tomorrow, where we build a Blood Angels list. And yeah,
Yep.
Adios.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.